Hello and welcome to the Freshman Guide to Finals podcast. I'm your host, Abby Heverin, and today we're going to be talking about all the tips and tricks freshmen can use to survive finals week. All right, today I am here with Jack and Miss Domina, so I'm just going to have you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves for me.
I'm Jack and I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Miss Domina. I teach math.
Awesome. So today we are going to be talking about a freshman's guide to finals and how we can make getting through the week of finals just a little bit easier for students. Okay, we'll start with you, Jack. So what methods have you used before to boost your grades if you are on the cusp in a class?
At the end of the semester, like when we come back from Thanksgiving break, normally my teachers will kind of outline like the rest of the tests we'll have and stuff like that. So I'll always try to make sure that I'm studying super hard for those classes and making sure that those grades are higher. So then when it comes time for the final, then, you know, that grade can play into that as well. And then also I always try to do my homework. Sometimes, you know, one homework assignment or two I won't turn in, but especially those last few weeks at the end of the semester, like in every single assignment, you know, like for, like I take AP Stats, for example, we have like each homework assignment is 2 points. And like in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, oh, one homework assignment isn't that much, but like it builds up, you know, so I try to get all those in like to help boost the grade as well.
Yeah. And then for Miss Domina, what would you recommend to students if they come to you wanting to boost their grade close to the final?
So I would say a lot of what Jack said is right, because I tell students, you know, it seems like it's just one test retake or it seems like it's one homework, but at the end they really do add up. So a lot of times I tell my students, like especially my freshmen, it might, you know, take a little bit of time. You have to restudy, but a retake, a reassessment could really help your grade. Even if you just got up to an 80, you know, if you went from a 40, a 50, a 60 up to that, that's a whole other 40 to 20% higher, and that's a big jump in your grade. So I always recommend staying on top of homework. And another thing we do too is like, have you been going to Math Resource Center? Have you been coming to office hours? Things where your teacher or Mr. Lee, one of us can help you. And not only for right now, but then kind of in preparation for a final too. Like you're more confident with materials ahead of time.
Yeah, awesome. And then also for Ms. Domina, how do you recommend students study for finals? Because oftentimes students are told to start studying in advance, but they don't really know what to do and what resources to use. So what would you recommend?
So a lot of times in math, like I'll speak for, I have college algebra and I have math 1. So I have seniors and then I have freshmen. And a lot of times what we do is we tell you guys to save your test review packets, because that is what's going to be pulled for your final, right? Something from every unit. But if you have a final exam packet, I know not all classes do a true final exam, but a project or topics, whatever you've covered, start going back and making little notes. Did I ever fully understand this? Did I not? Did I still need help? Maybe this unit really wasn't my strong suit. I didn't know this one. Pull that one back out and then bring that to an office hour or something, and let's go over it so that when you get to final exam review, you kind of feel a little bit more confident with that stuff. And a lot of times students, like when you asked about this, you know, how do they start and they're told ahead of time, a lot of times students don't know that they actually have a lot of the resources because they don't think about, well, that was an old test. Well, your final's cumulative, right? So if you can go back, you're kind of already ahead in the game. So that's the best plan. And then whatever final resources your teacher gives you, and extras like flashcards and, you know, maybe like a formula sheet, things like that that they can keep track of.
Yeah, awesome. And then, Jack, what are your preferred methods of studying? And even beyond that, how do you manage to study for multiple finals at once? And do you have any secret methods that you use for your sanity during finals?
Yeah, kind of what Ms. Domino was saying. I love to make one-pagers for each unit, and especially for finals as well. Just being able to like organize all my thoughts, because like in December, I cannot remember what we were doing in August, September at the beginning of the year. So just like you were saying, pulling those notes back out and like being able to just like write everything down and being like, oh, I remember this now. And then I can read through it, you know, as the week goes on. That's something that really helps me, and flashcards as well. You know, just being able to quiz myself, because my mom will always tell me, she's a former teacher, she always says, she's like, reading over your notes isn't enough, you know, you have to like actually like test yourself or like look at something, you know, and like writing it down and then reading it really works for me. And then as for like organizing all of my finals, I've done this since freshman year. I'll always make like a Google Doc and I'll put what days I have finals on, and like that week leading up, I'm just like, oh, study this day for that. Like these, I'll do it like by units. So like if I had a final on Wednesday, I'd be like, oh, maybe on Monday you'll go through the first 2 units and then you'll do the next 2 units, you know, on Tuesday, and then you can like put it all together, stuff like that.
Perfect. And then Miss Domina, if you were a student right now going through finals week, how would you break down your week before to ensure that you do your best on all your finals?
So I shared with Abby and Jack this sheet that myself and two other teachers, Mr. Los and Miss Voss, worked on. This was a couple years ago when I started teaching, and we were just talking about how stressed students get. Like, they could be doing awesome all unit, they get to a test day and all of a sudden they feel like their mind's blank, like all these things. So there's two parts. There's a week or so leading up to a test, what you should do, and then truly day of, like mindset, like game day plan. So the week before, you should be thinking about, where did I struggle? What was I confused on? What did I not really get? Go back to some of those units. And I know I'm speaking from math, but maybe there's a couple problems you're like, I never understood. Bring those to your teacher. Ask for another example of it. Ask for another one, try another one. See if now, if I was on a test, ask yourself, could I do this? And if not, that's something you need to work on with the teacher or, Mr. Lee in the Math Resource Center. Then if it's day of, you want to do these 6 things to alleviate some of that test anxiety. Take a sip of water. You want to take 3 deep breaths. Like, think you're heading into math class, Count down backwards from 10. I mean, these are all nationally studied de-stress things, and it sounds so funny, but taking 2 minutes to yourself on the day of to actually calm down and take the test is so big. The other thing that kids forget too are the old school techniques that help. When you're taking a test and you're feeling a little bit confused, circle the problems you don't know and come back, right? Because you're eating up time on something you're stuck on. Keep going. See if there's more, right? And you want to take a peek at the whole test. You want to see okay, do I kind of know the beginning? Maybe not the multiple choice, maybe free response. That's kind of all leading up to and day of. But your routines, not a lot of sugar. It sends your brain into this mode of let's work really hard now and then crash. You don't want that. You want a lot of good vitamins. You want some fruits. You want good sleep. My friend Miss Stoops always says no drama, because it's true. Your brain is not going to focus then. You've got background noise. You have all this stuff. You want it to be a calm, smooth day. You want to have a good mindset. You want to be able to truly focus on that test. So just trying to think of, what can I do to prepare and not, rush the night before, not the morning of. You don't want a final, on the Thursday at second period and fourth you're panicking. That's not going to help. You don't want that stress. So that's my biggest recommendation. Just kind of one positive thing, lead into it, and do your best.
Yeah, perfect. And then this is open to the both of you, but kind of building off of that, do you have any unhinged or out of the box tricks that you use for yourself personally to keep you going?
Do you want to go first or should I go?
During studying?
Yeah, or at the final, whatever.
Okay, this is insane. But while I'm studying, if I am in a really hot room, I will not stay focused, and I'll fall asleep or whatever. So sometimes if I'm at the end of studying, I'm almost there, I'll sit in my room and I'll turn the fan on and I'll open the windows, and it being cold wakes me back up, and I'll just sit there with the fan on high. I'm I'm a freak, but I'll be I'll wake back up, and start doing stuff again.
Yeah.
And also just the day of the test, I will wake up and the first thing I think I need to know when I wake up, I need to remember I have a test. So the whole day, if I walk into the class and I'm oh shoot, there's a test, it'll just throw me off. So I need to think about it and get my brain thinking, during lunch or something about the test that I have coming up. That helps.
That's good.
Yeah. Something for me too is, even when I was studying high school or college time, I have to think about what else I need to maybe understand, right? Do I know, is it free response? Do I need to know if it's, just multiple choice? Am I going to expect to show work? Things like that. So something I've always done, whether it was math, Spanish, whatever, is I give myself funny things to remember. And I teach Abby, so this is how I teach. But it really helps. Something goofy will pop into your brain during a test, I'm lucky. I definitely have pictographic memory. I see back to problems. I don't have good memory besides that. But what I do is I think of the funny things that I remembered. So, I was talking the other day with you guys about doing multiplying and dividing, and when we're using exponents and all that. And so we talk about multiplying and addition are a couple, and they're so cute, and they're paired together, and it's so goofy, but you're not going to forget something ridiculous, right? Yeah. And if you're just this is another math formula going through, you probably don't remember just another one of 1,000 problems you've done. So think of goofy things. Think of something that connects to you. Maybe you were in a group and you're working on vocab, and somebody said, isn't this word this? And it made you laugh. Maybe you're going to remember that now, right? So think of those little tricks and think about what would click for you. And just try to truly think about whatever works for you, how it will come up on test day. If you get panicked in test mode, will you have a clear mind and think of something goofy, or will you think back to a problem? Try to find your learning technique and how you remember, and that's going to help a ton.
Yeah, those are great. And then aside from like those unhinged tips and tricks, do you have any like lucky charms or like silly rituals that you do before a test, or like not even just finals, but yeah?
I have a really goofy one. This is ridiculous. It doesn't matter if I'm driving, it doesn't matter if I'm working on something or a big project, wherever I'm sitting, I just do 2 knocks.
I do 9.
Isn't that weird? I don't know. I had a teacher, I remember my 3rd grade teacher, like vividly, she would always say before a test, she'd go, good luck, and like tap the board twice. And I don't know if that's why, but ever since I'm like, okay, test today. Like it is my weird thing. And I do it all the time. If I'm on a long drive, 2 knocks when I get in the car, it's just my little good luck. And that could be totally baloney. It doesn't matter. It's just something for me where I'm like, yep, okay, we got this. It's like a little boost of confidence.
No, I do that too. I knock on wood. Like before we went on for Shrek the first time, I knocked on the back of the set.
See,
to like
I'm
make
just
sure
saying,
that I was like ready.
Yeah,
I'm like
sometimes
ready
you
to
got
go.
goofy things, and even if it's for you, it's proven if you have a boost of confidence, it works.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, some people say like smile in the mirror for a minute to have a good day, right? Like there's so many weird things, but if it makes you giggle and you feel very confident, it's going to build your esteem. So that's so important.
Yeah. This is insane. I saw someone on TikTok, they were like, oh, hair holds memories, like rub your notes on your hair. I did it before my stats test, and then I got like a 95. So like I've done that ever since, and I've been doing good on tests. So I'll just like sitting
right.
there like,
see, I mean, it's goofy, but what if it works?
yeah,
right?
and like it's doing something for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, well, these are all great tips and tricks. You're all very capable of making it through finals, and it's not as scary as you think it is. So good luck on finals, and have a great day.